you will have to choose. We all do. We choose who we're going to become. We choose our life experience. We all choose it. And if you think about this, we're all born the same way. Every person that comes into the world is born exactly the same way, because all we have is our consciousness to guide and direct our lives. Every single person. But we have things that we don't remember, or that might be blocking us from knowing who we are, so that we're not able to access that level of consciousness that would allow us to become happy, to live the lives we want to have. That goes on. And so when you become willing to move through the old stuff, then you figure out where you're supposed to go. And then you figure out who you're meant to become. And then you start living a really glorious life. And I can say that because that's what I had to move through. And I'm also talking about it now because our world does the same thing. When I started talking about the changes in our world, I started talking about restructuring and things were going to be different. And I actually changed my entire life because I knew what was coming. I knew what we would be experiencing in our world. And people might be a little bit afraid and uncertain because it looks like everything's coming apart. It looks like the world is just going to blow up any moment now. I don't believe that's true. I believe that what's happening is that we're just creating a better world. But it's really challenging because what happens is we don't like to change. I didn't want to change. I absolutely didn't want to change, because for me to change, I would have to tell you who I am. I would have to talk about my life. I would have to own every aspect of my life. That was really complicated and challenging, which is the same for most people. And that's why I've shifted my work, because I know that everyone can change if they start to use their mind in a different way and understand who they are. Now, we come in with different kind of programming. I had this programming that came from my family. For where I grew up, you have the same thing. We all do. But then the choice that we have, because it never matters where you grew up or how your life was or any of that. It's only about how you choose to think about it. It's only about how you choose to think about yourself and your experiences and what you've moved through. Because I've moved through everything. This is why I can talk about it. I know. I went through so many tragedies and difficulties and illnesses and accidents and failures and losing everything, all of that. But then I changed it because I had to use my mindset to do that. But then I had another little helper, which was my guide, which we all have. We have this intuition that if we listen to it and develop it, we could actually receive a lot of information, because it's universal consciousness when we access it. This is why people for centuries, why do you think people pray? Why did they go to church and pray? They're trying to get some guidance. You're sitting there and trying to figure out something, except we all have it. We just don't always use it. And then, depending on how we've been programmed and how long that might have been, it takes time to change those old limited things that are going on in your thinking, that you can live the life that you want to have. And our world is doing the same thing. See, because I can remember way back when our world was very different, because I've lived through a lot of it. I've lived through changes like this, but no one has done this particular one, because it's never happened in our world. That's why it looks crazy. This is why it looks like the United States is going crazy and everybody's having all of these things. All the stuff that I said would be happening a few years ago, but it's really for a great purpose. It's to cause you to love yourself. That's all. It's to cause you to own who you are. That's really what it is. Because when we do that, the energies of the world change, and then we don't see what's going on. And then the bonus is you get to become happy. You get to become prosperous, because anything that we are choosing that's uncomfortable blocks everything from coming into our lives, because it's all energy. Energy in the way you create your life, energy in the way we create our world. And it's the same thing. Now, we've gone through generations, because I can tell you my family, we had generations way back where, no, I was told I wasn't the same as everyone else. I was told I wasn't as good as everyone else. And women were told the same thing. That's what's changing. That's why we're going through all of this mess right now. But see, I knew that I had all the work that could help people change. And that's what I had to do, because whatever it was within you, whatever you've lived, you have something to give back to the world, and then you will start to live a really great life. Every single person has this, and I know that as well, because I've coached many people that have accessed that and have changed their lives and gone on to do wonderful things. But the one thing I couldn't do was own all of myself, and I didn't tell everybody how I did that, but I did a while ago. I did an interview that came out on Next Level Soul. Many of you might have seen that, and it's completely transformed my life, because I'm so busy now that I really can't see a whole lot of people, which I'm grateful for, because the more people I can work with and the more people I can help understand who they are, become their best self, I'm going to do that, because that's going to make our world a lot better, you see. Because when you let go of the things that have been holding you back, let go of the things that have been telling you that you're not enough, that you can't do certain things, that changes everything, changes your life, and we add that energy of light, of love, of all of that into the world. That's what happens. But I thought I'd read a message to you, because it is all about our thinking. And when you understand neuroscience, you know that it doesn't happen all at once. We have to change things. And this is a message I told everyone. I received all this information for many, many years, but the information I'm using in my work now came in 2012. And there are many people on the planet who will understand why that happened. And you can study a little history to see that, because that was another time we were changing. But we're now going into a newer direction. And the way that will happen is that if we become happy, prosperous, and loving ourselves, that's all. That's all we got to do, because that's the energy. That's a much higher vibration energy. But let me tell you this. This was one of the messages from 2012. Your thinking guides, directs, and shapes your physical life experience. You have free will of choice to decide where you would like your thinking to lead you, even though at times that does not feel like the reality. It would be helpful for you to remember that it is not as important where you allow your thinking to take you, but it is of utmost importance where you allow your thinking to stay. In other words, your thinking may take you to some very unsavory places, so to speak, and that is purposeful. It is purposeful because you needed to have a contrast of things to decide where you desire your life experience to go. That is indeed true power. Now, yeah, I wrote it in 2012, but I had to live it. I had to understand it. I had to embody it into me so that I could start living as my authentic self. And that's what everyone should do as they want to live this really great life. Because see, who you were born to be, it's in you, no matter what you've gone through. And I can talk about this because I've gone through all kinds of stuff that people think, oh, well, was a terrible life. It wasn't. It was something that allowed me to bring in information that I can give to others, and now my life is brilliant. And I know that every single person can do that if they choose. And you will have to make a choice, because as the world continues to change, because it's going to feel like it's falling apart or splitting apart a little bit more, you will have to choose. You have to choose what you think about politics. You have to choose what you think about women. You have to choose what you think about yourself, what you think about your race, your gender, all of that stuff. You're going to have to choose. And if you choose fear, you're going to feel terrible. And if you choose love, you're going to be choosing yourself, your authentic self, how you were born, who you were meant to become in this world. And it's so thrilling when you do that, and that's the work that I'm doing now. But you will choose to love who you are. See you soon.
I haven't done anything like this.
It's increased the confidence that I had in myself.
Everything is better. I mean, every single aspect of my life. My income, the progress is just amazing. Like, you can see changes from week to week.
Introducing your last development program, Life Transformation for Success, the newest part of Roger Burnley's coaching series. In this 3-month online program, you will learn the mindset tools you need to dissolve the shame of your past, discover the gifts within you that make you important to the world, and get the confidence to rise above anything that stands between you and the life that you want.
Everything changed in my life. Everything, every single thing.
It's time for you to reprogram your mind for success and become self-actualized. If you're ready to transform your life too, learn more at yourlastdevelopmentprogram.com today.